What's up, everybody? Justin here to do the Year in Wrestling 1985 Part 2, Year in Wrestling Reloaded. So here we go. Up first, what I'm going to talk about, so I'm wearing his shirt, is the Macho Man's WWF debut. He made his debut in 1985. I heard an interview, like over a decade ago. I actually own it on DVD, a shoot interview with Jimmy Hart. He was in Memphis before WWF. Jimmy Hart says he's the guy that was telling WWF and Vince and Howard Finkel that they should bring in Randy Savage. So Jimmy Hart, in my opinion, Jimmy Hart got Randy Savage into WWF. So his debut, the Macho Man, ooh yeah, his debut was on, let me get it here. So, what is this? This is the wrong guy. Gotta get it to Randy Savage. So, in June 1985, June 85, Macho Man signed with Vince McMahon, and he was brought in and billed as a top free agent in pro wrestling. Savage's first appearance was on Tuesday Night Titans, and several established managers, Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart, Classy Freddie Blassie, offered their services to Macho Man. They wanted to be his manager. So he eventually declined all their offers. And then, after that, it was another debut was made. Miss Elizabeth came out of the doors, came into the arena, came into the ring, and Miss Elizabeth was announced as Macho Man's manager. She looked absolutely stunning when she made her debut. She was a gorgeous woman, and she was Macho Man Randy Savage's real-life wife. So Vince talked to Macho Man before this and wanted to bring in a model, a real-life model to manage Macho Man. But Macho Man said no, said this to Vince, no. He says, I got the perfect woman that can manage me, and she's really, really hot. He says, my own wife. And Vince saw Miss Elizabeth, and of course, why wouldn't he agree to that, to bring her in? So, even though Macho Man was a heel from 85, from his debut until probably the summer, late summer, till the summer, till like July or August of 87, he was a heel. But Miss Elizabeth, she was loved by the fans. She's still loved by a lot of fans. And she just, Randy was super over. The guy's a great talker, great worker. But Miss Elizabeth added a lot to his gimmick and his character. And Miss Elizabeth, in my opinion, really got Randy Savage over even more than he was over. She really, really helped him out, in my opinion. And some could say in the 80s, Miss Elizabeth, it could be argued that maybe she was a bigger star than her husband. I wouldn't agree with that, but she was a really big star. And she's loved by millions of fans. So, as I said, he debuted in June 85. And he made his debut at the Wrestling Classic. Macho Man made his pay-per-view debut at the Wrestling Classic on November 7th, 85. I'll talk about the Wrestling Classic in a little while. I'll review it. So, Macho Man made his debut in June 85. It was great. He was a perfect fit. I'm glad he didn't go to NWA, because Macho Man belonged in WWF. So, more news items from 85. April 29th, 85, Hulk Hogan appears on the cover of Sports Illustrated next to the swimsuit issue. The magazine is the year's best-selling magazine of the year. May 11th, 85, the debut of Saturday night's main event. Wrestling returns to primetime TV. As it says, May 11th, 85, professional wrestling returns to network television after a 30-year absence. Saturday night's main event premieres on NBC. In the main event, world champion Hulk Hogan defeats Bob Orton. And also, Bob Orton was with Rowdy Piper, and Mr. T made an appearance, and Paul Orndorff was also at ringside. June 5th, 85, Steve Dr. Death Williams, receives 100 stitches in his right eye following a match with Brad Armstrong. He wrestles again just hours after being stitched up. So, Steve Williams, damn tough guy. Legit, real tough guy. June 6th, 85. Now, this is a damn funny story. I'm sure both guys were drunk, but it's still damn funny. After 7 hours of deliberation, a jury finds Ken Patera and Mr. Saito guilty of several assault charges stemming from a fight with police officers. Patera is convicted of 2 counts of battery on a police officer and 1 count of criminal damage to property on a police officer and 1 count of obstructing an officer. Both men are sentenced to 2 years in prison. Ken Patera, Mr. Saito get 2 years in prison. And then Ken Patera would make his return in 87 to the WWF, and Bobby Heenan nonstop would make jailbird jokes and just make fun of him constantly on primetime wrestling because he was in prison. That was damn funny. Bobby Heenan always making fun of Ken Patera about him being in jail. So that was June 6th. July 2nd. Pro Wrestling Illustrated reinstates world title recognition for the WWF heavyweight title after more than 2 years of viewing it as a regional title. August 22nd, Mike Von Erich is operating on a something, what the hell? I don't know what the hell this story's about, but Mike Von Erich basically is at a cancer and research hospital in Dallas, Texas. For an injured shoulder, he is released 4 days later with no apparent complications, but readmitted a day after with 105-degree fever. That'll fry your brain. Probably, if you had 105-degree fever, it'd mess up your brain probably really bad. And I've seen pictures of Mike Von Erich from a DVD about World Class. Anyways, Mike Von Erich, the guy looked like a skeleton. The guy looked really sick. It was bad. Because the guy got his brain fried, basically, with 105-degree fever. His temperature soars to 107 degrees as he begins a month-long battle against toxic shock syndrome. That's very sad. And he would go way downhill. And I believe after that, the guy committed suicide because he couldn't take it. He couldn't wrestle anymore, that's for sure, but he thought he was going to return to wrestling, and he was not. It was sad. So August 22nd, Mike Von Erich, the guy basically had a death sentence. And he would battle toxic shock syndrome. August 27th, 85, ESPN airs wrestling for the first time as it begins broadcasting a weekly AWA program. So a lot of other stories here. I just might not read all of them, but some of them. September 20th, both guys were retired, but September 20th, Freddie Blassie and Lou Albano wrestle each other inside a steel cage at Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. I don't know why they were wrestling, but they were. They probably drew a big house because people still wanted to see them fight. November 19th, Lex Luger captures the Southern Heavyweight title from Wahoo McDaniel in Tampa, Florida, less than 3 weeks after making his pro debut. Also, I believe Sting and the Ultimate Warrior made their wrestling debuts in 85 or maybe 86. So December 12th, Tatsumi Fujinami and some other Japanese guy defeat Antonio Inoki and someone else to win the annual New Japan Tag Tournament and become the first IWGP Tag Team Champions. The end is a major upset as Fujinami scores his first pinfall ever over his mentor Inoki in 31 minutes 53 seconds. So that's a lot of news stories I just gave you from 85. Now I'm going to talk about the Wrestling Classic, which took place on November 7th. And then after I review the Wrestling Classic, I'll review Starrcade 85. So the Wrestling Classic was the first ever pay-per-view, or I think it was on pay-per-view or closed circuit after WrestleMania. So maybe the first ever pay-per-view event on pay-per-view, I'm not sure, but Wrestling Classic was a pay-per-view event that took place on November 7th from Rosemont Horizon in Chicago. That building WWE still goes to for Raws and pay-per-views, and that building in Rosemont, Illinois, that building's a shithole. That's what I've heard. But they continue to use it. So, the event, I'm going to just go to the matches. The event was a big tournament. I believe it's 16-man tournament. So in the first round, Adrian Adonis with Jimmy Hart defeated Corporal Kirshner. Another first round match, Dynamite Kid defeated Nikolai Volkov in 9 seconds when he drop kicked him off the top rope. That is pretty damn funny. By the way, the Wrestling Classic is on the WWE Network. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. And Adonis defeating Kopro Kirshner. That was only 4 minutes. Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth defeated Ivan Putski in 3 minutes. So not long at all. A lot of these matches are 3 to 4 minutes or less. Next, first round match, Ricky Steamboat defeated Davey Boy Smith by forfeit. I guess Davey Boy didn't show up or something. I don't really remember the event because I haven't watched it in a couple of years. Anyways, next first round, Junkyard Dog defeated the Iron Sheik in 3 minutes. Moondog Spot defeated Terry Funk by countout in 17 seconds. So that was pointless. Tito Santana defeated the magnificent Don Morocco in 4 minutes. Paul Orndorff defeated Bob Orton by disqualification, 7 minutes. Dynamite Kid, second round. Dynamite Kid defeated Adrian Adonis. Macho Man Randy Savage defeated Ricky Steamboat. Tito Santana and Paul Orndorff had a double countout. And Hulk Hogan in a singles match, not a part of the tournament. Hulk Hogan defending the championship, the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Hulk Hogan defeated Rowdy Piper by disqualification. I'm sure Piper didn't want a job to Hogan clean, and he had a right to not want him. Randy Savage defeated the Dynamite Kid in the semifinals. And the Junkyard Dog defeated, in the second round, Junkyard Dog defeated Moondog Spot. And in the finals, the Junkyard Dog defeated the Macho Man by countout in the tournament final. So Junkyard Dog wins the Wrestling Classic. And the other match was Hulk Hogan defeating Piper by countout. So that was the Wrestling Classic. Now I'm going to look up Starrcade 85. So Starrcade 1985 now. I'm going to review. This is the Year in Wrestling Reloaded Part 2 of 1985. Now I'll be done with 85. So the Starrcade 5 poster has Dusty and Ric Flair on it. It says Pro Wrestling Illustrated's top match of 1985 was Dusty and Ric Flair. There it is. From Starrcade 85. That's the poster. So, I didn't know that Dusty, or I forgot that Dusty and Ric Flair was Pro Wrestling Illustrated's top match of 85. And it probably should have been. It was very good. So, Starrcade 5 took place, I believe, on Thanksgiving, or sometime around there, November 28th, 85, from Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. So let's get to the matches. Crusher Cruise Ship, who later would become Demolition Smash, and Repo Man, and Blacktop Bully, and Barry Darsow, and some golfing gimmick he had. Hole-in-one Barry Darsow, something like that. The guy had a lot of gimmicks. So Crusher Cruise Ship singles match for the vacated NWA Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship. Crusher Cruise Ship defeated Sam Houston. Later on, Sam Houston would go to WWF in I think 87, 88. He was there. Next match, Ron Bass. Also, Ron Bass would go to WWF in 87. Ron Bass defeated Black Bart. Black Bart was like a jobber, in my opinion. Ron Bass defeated Black Bart in a Texas bull rope match. Up next, James J. Dillon defeated Ron Bass. I don't think that's right, but maybe it is. Who knows? I haven't watched Starrcade 85 in years and years. Buddy Landel, singles match for the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. They had way too many NWA championships. I don't care if they're called Mid-Atlantic or NWA National Heavyweight, too many titles. So Buddy Landel defeated Terry Taylor, who was the National Heavyweight Champion. I never liked Buddy Landel, the Nature Boy. Buddy Landel, I thought he sucked. Never liked him. He was not even close to the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And not even close to Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. So Magnum TA up next defeated Tully Blanchard in an I Quit match inside a steel cage for the NWA United States Championship. That was great. That was a great cage match. That was a great I Quit match. That match really put Jim Crockett Promotions and the NWA on the map for being a pretty damn good company. They had a great I Quit match inside a cage. It was violent, it got bloody, and it was awesome. So Magnum TA defeats Tully Blanchard. He's with Baby Doll. And they had a great feud in 85. Magnum TA, Tully Blanchard would have a great feud. And then going into 86, Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes would have a good feud with the Horsemen. So match number 11, the Rock and Roll Express inside a steel cage for the NWA Tag Team titles. Midnight Express defeat Ivan and Nikita Koloff inside a cage. That was a damn good match for the tag titles. So now, other matches. This is from the Omni in Atlanta, I guess, these matches. Manny Fernandez defeated Abdullah the Butcher in a Mexican death match. Up next, superstar Billy Graham defeated the Barbarian in an arm wrestling match. And then in a singles match, superstar Billy Graham defeated the Barbarian by disqualification. I was just staring up at my TV because the Packers just started their first preseason game against the Eagles. I was trying to watch it. So next was the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ole Anderson and Arn Anderson for the NWA National Tag Team Championships. They defeated Wahoo McDaniel and Billy Jack Haynes. Jimmy Valiant with Big Mama. I don't know who that woman was, but her name was Big Mama, and she had a giant rack, giant breasts. That's what I remember about Big Mama. So Jimmy Valiant defeats the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey. In an Atlanta street fight, it was Jimmy Valiant and I guess Big Mama was his tag team partner. Now the main event for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Nature Boy Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes for the NWA title. The main event of Starrcade 85. If you hear noise, it's people and a stupid dog outside making noise. You know, little kids across the street screaming. So, Dusty Rhodes would defeat Ric Flair to win the NWA title and win 22 minutes and 6 seconds, and it was damn good. Starrcade 5, I would grade the Wrestling Classic, I would grade that as a C+ event. Starrcade 5, I would give it a B. Pretty good event. The main event, Ric Flair, Dusty, I'd give that an A+. But the entire event, I'd give a B. And as I said, I give Wrestling Classic a C, or C+. So this ends Year in Wrestling Reloaded 1985 Part 2. I'll be back with another Year in Wrestling Reloaded 1986. I don't know when I'll do 86. Maybe in a couple days. Maybe next week. I don't know. Hope you enjoyed the Year in Wrestling 1985 Part 2 Reloaded. Bye for now.